By the time I gave birth to my second child, which was a daughter, and when she was 3 months old, we lost her to sudden infant death syndrome. And my parents were flown out to Hawaii by my husband because he felt that I needed some other family support. I don't remember if I started it or if my mother started it, but an argument happened, and I ended up basically throwing them out of my house. Probably a bad move, but I was under a lot of pressure and stress at the time. They left and they got on a plane, and 2 days later my daughter died, was taken off of life support.
They left while you had your daughter on life support?
Yes, they never saw her.
Why are you here today?
Really looking for a lot of answers because I have 3 children of my own now, and I couldn't even contemplate the treatment that I received as a child is opposite what I do with my children. They are first and foremost, no matter what. I would starve if I had to for them to eat.
Okay, let's go and meet your mother. Well, you've been sitting here listening, correct? Linda said that you don't love her.
Well, I did love her, but she killed that. But she has broken our hearts, her father and my heart so many times.
How?
How? With the things that she has done, we've never been able to please her. No matter what we did, I've given her the best of everything, but it was never enough.
She felt she needed hugs and kisses.
Linda told me many, many times, I'm not the huggy, kissy, kissy type. I love the hug. I love to feel loved. I'm the one that wants to be loved and feel loved. But she said, I'm not the huggy, kissy, kissy type.
That's now
But,
as a grown woman.
Not true?
That's how I feel now as a grown woman, and I think that that's a result as my childhood.
Yeah, but when you were a child, wouldn't you want to be hugged and held?
No.
Not any time in your life?
No, not by her, I didn't.
What happened when her second child died?
She asked us to come to Hawaii so that we could see my granddaughter before she was disconnected. And that was a 10-hour flight there, and we got there, it was only like 10 minutes away from the hospital. And when I got there, she wouldn't take me to see her. She said we needed groceries in the house, and we went to the store, and we filled up her freezer and her refrigerator with food. And then Linda just goes from one person to the next with the snap of your fingers.
We went sightseeing.
She
We
sat
didn't
on
go
the floor.
grocery shopping.
You sat on the floor.
Sure.
Can I come up there?
Sure, if you'd like to come on up here, let me get you a chair. Here we go. Let me put a chair right over here.
No, ma'am.
No?
I'm sorry.
Would you rather sit here?
I would prefer to stand.
Okay.
They have never really gotten along.
Right.
I will agree that Linda is better with me,
Okay.
providing everything goes her way.
Okay.
But last week she told me to drop dead
Why?
because I kicked her out of the house because her daughter was tearing the house up. I'm 72 years old. I'm chasing a 2.5-year-old, and she's sitting over there on her fanny drinking Cokes and smoking cigarettes.
That.
Sometimes you have a child that is the side of you that you really don't own up to, the side of you that you've worked on or worked through, or you just don't want to acknowledge that side of yourself. And I think this is what is happening here.
I've never seen basic hatred like that.
Well,
for
you
a
know,
mother
this
for
is
a
love,
daughter and
Sally.
vice versa.
It's
love?
crazy, but it's love. It's dysfunctional love, but it is love. And the thing is that they don't know how to express or how to show or how to communicate.
Well, talk to them.
And I think what is happening here is everybody's at a standoff. It's almost like if you watch basketball, it's like a jump ball. You know, when they come to a point in the game where they have to throw the ball up and they jump, and which side ever it goes to, that's the side that wins. But it's not about winning here. It's not about winning. It's about being happy. And what's important here is not so much to take sides and say, well, you're wrong, and she's right, or that she's right and you're wrong. What it is how can I find what I need to be happy?
Are they better off having no relationship at all?
I think what they need to do is to give it some time. I think it's best that you start to think about the effect that you're having on her. And you need to think about what she's feeling now that you know that they're your parents. You know, you're going to need someone in this world. You can't live in this world alone. And you have children.
I have my children.
And you have your children, yes. But there's a family tree. There are roots. There's family. Their children are going to grow up one day and say, I want to know about my grandma and grandpa. Now, you may know your mom and the way she was to you when you were a child. But that was the first time she was ever a parent. So she might have made mistakes. And it was your first time being a child, and you might have made mistakes. So give each other a chance to talk about what it is that you need.
I was born here. Everybody in Douglas knows me as Sissy, and I've dressed this way ever since we moved to town in 1977. I like to be called Sissy, that's what I am. I never have tried to pass as a woman. I'm just a man who favors dresses. Well, I first started dressing this way when I was 4 or 5. It was extremely difficult growing up because I was so afraid that somebody would find out my secret. My wife, she's lovely and wonderful. We kind of grew up together as I was coming out, and initially, of course, she was embarrassed and ashamed. But I think she learned that whatever she loved in me, this was part of it. My children are in no way prejudiced whatsoever. When they see somebody different, they try to understand their behavior. My average day is usually filled with work. I'll get up in the morning, put on a tennis skirt and a blouse, do some work around the house, yard work typically. If the weather's nice, I'll go out and play some golf. Well, I've never been accused of being a real great dresser, but I like the square dance styles, the full skirts and petticoats. Also, one of my favorite styles is the tennis type skirts. My lifestyle has been very difficult, but it's not a choice.
This is Sissy's wife, Vicki. Wow. I think it needs to be explained. What does he mean by not a choice? He couldn't dress in men's clothes if he wanted to?
Actually, he had a nervous breakdown by trying to dress in
men's clothes.
Men's clothes, yes, and that put him into therapy. And
where did you meet him?
Actually, Sissy and I went to the same high school in Wyoming.
And you've been married how long?
We've been married 33 years. And so,
when you met him, what was he wearing?
well, we didn't meet in high school. We went to the same high school, but we didn't know each other there. But he was a cowboy, you know. He wore cowboy boots and Western shirts and rodeoed. He was a member of the Future Farmers of America. He was really a sexy guy, I'll tell you.
Wouldn't you think that he would be gay? I mean, wouldn't you think that?
Well, if I hadn't known him before, I probably would have assumed that he was gay. I mean,
okay, but you've been married to him 33 years.
I've been married to him 33 years, and he is not gay.
He is not
not gay.
Why don't we meet Sissy? Sissy, come on out. Sissy, what percentage of transvestites are gay?
The way I dress isn't about sexuality
Right.
at all.
What is it about, Sissy?
It's a complicated psychological dilemma. I started dressing this way from my earliest recollections, age 4 or 5.
Okay.
And I kept it a deep, dark secret. I was ashamed of myself.
How do people react to the way you dress?
Well,
15th was a normal day. I went to a football game, varsity cheerleader, something I had waited for my whole life. And I went to sleep. And that was the last memory I had.
Okay.
Until February.
Let's go to your mother. Mother, the next morning, the girl goes to sleep at night, right? The next morning, you want to wake your daughter up?
She wasn't the Christy that is here today. She was a very different person while she was sleeping. Being a young teenager and, you know, adolescent, I thought maybe something had happened to her. I kept trying to wake her up, and she was very little response, and couldn't feed her, and everything was a struggle. By Monday, she was uncooperative. So I took her to the doctor, and
How did you take her to the doctor if she's asleep?
it was a struggle.
What doctor in the United States would know what this is?
Well, I saw this happened again and again. I woke up in February.
But what did the doctor
24th.
tell you that day?
They didn't know.
They didn't know what it was. And
Of course
I woke
not.
up and they thought that whatever this was, they thought just like we did. It's the most bizarre, we don't understand what this was.
And
they
you
thought
said it
wouldn't
happened
happen.
again?
It happened over and over and over again for the last 9 years of my life, and it still happens.
Anne videotaped one of Christie's episodes. We need for ourselves to take a look at this.
This is my mom this is what she does on a daily basis when I'm having an episode. This is not the way that a normal 24-year-old person acts.
She has to have 24-hour care, and it all has to be coaxing, continuous
Here
coaxing.
she's walking me to the bathroom because I've been sleeping for so long that I can't actually get up and walk to the bathroom on my own. I'm telling her I don't want it, and I'm eating it at the same time. So it's just an example that I have no idea what I'm going through. I have no idea that I'm having this episode, and I'm in this world. I'm disconnected.
You've slept through your 17th and 18th birthday. Last Thanksgiving, you fell asleep and you did not know you got accepted to graduate school.
Yeah.
How are you going to go to graduate school?
Well, it's a similar way that I've gotten my undergraduate degree. I was told by the doctors, well, they were trying to figure out what this was, and once I got a diagnosis, that I would never be able to finish high school. And I've since graduated from college.
Did they ever find out what you got?
What she has is Kleine-Levin syndrome. It's a medical disorder that causes random excessive sleeping for indefinite periods of time.
Dreams of my sister being killed. They start out with her standing.
This is Jenna. Go ahead.
They stand as her standing next to a guy, and then down the road there's another guy, and across the street from my sister there's a brown, like Bronco, and the guy from down the street pulls a gun on my sister and shoots her. And I had reoccurring many, many times for about almost 4 years.
Who have you told it to?
I told my sister, and she asked me not to tell her about it anymore.
Okay, take a look at this.
The last time Joanne Browning spoke to her daughter Jill was January 28th, 2001. It was Super Bowl Sunday.
And Monday morning, there was still no answer. And I called her work, and she was a no call, no show. And then I knew it. I knew something was terribly, terribly wrong, so I went and picked up Jenna and went over to the apartment.
What they found traumatized them. 18-year-old Jill was lying dead on the floor of her Syracuse apartment. She had been brutally stabbed.
I wanted so much out of life, and it's not fair that someone took all of her dreams away. We love you, Jill, and we miss you.
Somebody hurt my baby really bad. They took her away from me. There'll never be forgiveness.
Jenna, people sometimes have premonitions. Was the dream always the same?
Mm-hmm. Jenna had spent the previous Sunday night with Jill. Jenna said that her and Jill had taken Hooch, which was Jill's little Boston Terrier, for a walk that Sunday night. Jenna told her she was scared, And she said, you know, she says, one of these days, she says, somebody's either going to mug you around here, she goes, or kill you. And a week later,
That happened.
I found her stabbed to death in her apartment.
Joanne, what has your life been like?
Oh.
Do they know who did this?
No, this is why I need the national attention. I need to get the word out there for two specific reasons. Number one,
Give me the reasons.
it's so Jill can rest in peace.
Okay.
She can't rest in peace. We can't grieve. We can't have any closure. What if this is somebody that has sat down at our dinner table?
Yes.
What if she took the city bus? She may have been stalked. But the next important reason is we don't want